Hi, and welcome to M&M Reviews. I'm Rita,
And I am Mirage.
and we're gonna review the latest episode of WandaVision, number
Episode
8.
8. Yeah. So,
We didn't like it.
we didn't like the episode.
And it's always like when you like something and you're so excited about it and you enjoy it and you look forward to it all week and then it disappoints you. It's not a great feeling. I feel like double disappointed because I first just didn't really like the episode, but also feel like all this expectation and for nothing.
I feel triple disappointed because I feel those two disappointments, but also the disappointment of living in this time of Corona and there's not much that to look forward to, and then you get further disappointed by reality. And we don't have the power of Wanda to create our own reality, so we have to live with the disappointment. So what didn't you like about the episode? Or why didn't you like the episode?
I think it was just lame. It was okay, now we let's literally walk through your trauma step by step. This happened. Oh, that's sad, but it must have been something more. This happened. Okay, but it must have been something more. Okay, you're very dangerous.
Yeah.
That was the conclusion. It was because I don't know. It's who is watching this show that doesn't know Wanda's backstory? I guess it's they just want to make sure that
everyone knows her backstory. Yeah, I guess so. But it was also I thought the content of the episode, as you laid out, was bad. But also the structure of it and the way they presented it. So you have this super creative show, and who does this very nuanced and novel storytelling, but then suddenly to filling in the backstory, which, as you know, that everyone already knew, and they just do this basic villain opening a door, walking into the past, watching the past, walking into another door because they need to know more. It's why were they so uncreative here? Why did they do it in such a basic way? It was just disappointing, honestly. I expected more.
Yeah, but Elizabeth Olsen, she's really good at acting.
Oh yeah, she's really good at acting.
I was so impressed by how good at acting she was. Imagine having to look down on some CG, some ball on the table and being I can't feel you.
Yeah, that was really good. And I got the goosebumps, when she at the end explodes and she kind of creates the whole reality or whatever.
I can't believe she created Vision. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I really like that plot twist. That was dope.
So does that mean now that
there's two
Visions in the world?
I don't know. I think she'll probably destroy the fake Visions somehow.
Yeah, probably, right? Or she'll both.
Or maybe they'll merge into one.
Or both Visions will be gone or something. Yeah, but I mean, there's not that much we want to talk about here for this review, really, because we didn't like it, and we didn't like it for an obvious reason. I guess one thing to talk about is the Pietro thing. We don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it, because Agatha, she's I'm controlling Pietro, but controlling him how? Because she can't bend reality. She's not. Could she make the illusion of him having this super speed?
Yeah, exactly. That's the confusing part. So is it did she imbue him with super speed power? That seems
create
weird.
The illusion that he does. That seems very weird.
Yeah, that seems super strange. And I think honestly, I would be kind of disappointed also if in the end it turned out that he was the Quicksilver guy, who is obviously the Quicksilver actor from the Fox cinematic X-Men universe. Turned out that they just hired him to as a fun gag. I think that would be a bit of a disappointment for me, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I feel if that really is the case, then I think they underestimated how excited people are about seeing Quicksilver. Because I mean, he's so iconic.
He's so iconic, and the actor is so good.
Yeah, and I mean, those Quicksilver scenes from X-Men. I mean, they're some of the most fun superhero.
Iconic scenes. Iconic.
Yeah, so it's just it would be weird to just bring him in as a weird joke.
Yeah, and I always felt that would turn out that not only is he like a Quicksilver and here to stay, but that he's also a good guy just from the perspective of Disney's incentive to make money, because he's a good actor. People really like him. You know, he has these iconic scenes, so he would bring in like revenue. But so I would just be like surprised if no, they were just like, haha, fun gag. And you know, kind of upset.
Yeah. I don't get why like Agnes is like hurting Scarlet Witch's like children.
Yeah.
That seems like very weird. It's like, you're dangerous, I'm gonna hurt your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems very weird. So like that and like the ending I also didn't really get.
No.
Because it's also like, I don't get it. Like if Scarlet Witch is so powerful, like why would she be like afraid of Agatha, except for in the basement? But if like when they're in the basement, Agatha can completely control her.
Yeah.
Why would Agatha ever leave the basement with her?
Yeah, it made zero sense.
Because like then she's obviously so much more vulnerable. And I mean Agatha, she's like, oh, you could never read my mind, sweetie. But like, why not? Because like, okay, so so maybe she has some sort of like, maybe her brooch or something, some sort of like really special protection.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't know, just, I feel like the thing is, like, there's only one episode left, and now you just know they're not going to be able to tie it all together in a way that makes you happy.
Yeah.
So I think that's also the bigger part of, like, why I'm disappointed. Because it's just, like, this episode raised a lot of, like, questions. Yeah, it was like, I have a lot of questions. None of them were answered because instead the time was spent like talking about backstory I already knew.
Yeah.
And like the backstory is like really sad. So, you know, obviously it's like a downer, which is like fine. But it's also like, I just feel like I'm not alone in feeling like I don't want to watch like somebody being sad for 35 minutes right now. Like, I don't have a big like demand for that in my life.
Yeah.
About people dying and how sad that is. It's like, that's the reality right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true that, like, I guess, like, the fourth layer of disappointment with this episode was that, like, you just know for the last episode that they're not going to be able to tie it all together. And that's
unless it's, like, 2 hours long.
Yeah, unless it's, like, 2 hours long. But I feel like that would have been leaked right now. If it was a real long episode, that would have been, like, leaked. And it's like, I also worry that like, and it's also fine if they don't like, I mean in theory it's fine if they don't tie it all together, because there was a lot going on here, and if it's like certain things lead into like other things, like other movies, and we get the answers there, that's all good. But now it's like, I feel like there's a lot of questions, there's like a lot, and it's also now they wasted like an episode doing something that no one asked for, and I don't think anyone really wanted, so then you know that like perpetuates and undergirds the disappointment.
I think that's the thing. It was just like nobody asked for this, nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
But like my last thing I want to talk about is like, hey, but like Wanda, she created Vision.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. That was crazy though. That was like some insane power. It was really cool moment, but it's also like, I mean, it's so confusing. So if she's so powerful that she literally created Vision, and Vision has like mind reading powers because she's so powerful that she gave him the power of the Mind Stone. Why would an Agatha is all like, you're this legendary being thought to be mythology who can possessed with chaos magic, who can spontaneously like create reality. I'm gonna take you out of my basement and fight you. And it's like, what does Agatha want, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what does she want? She's like, oh, I sensed many spells. It's like, I think like the hint is that she like wants Scarlet Witch's power.
Right, yeah, like that's what.
But for what also?
Yeah.
Like, and in the beginning it was like Agatha, it was also like a bit like tired shtick by now a bit. I feel like in the Marvel universe, like she wanted too many like knowledge, you know, at the level beyond.
Yeah.
And then so then they try to kill her, but she's like already too strong, and then she kills everybody and she's so strong, and then again like now she's just here, and what has she been up to? Where was she like in Thanos? Like
where was she when they were fighting Thanos? And
it's like you don't know. Yeah, it's like the thing is, my summary point is like you don't find out the backstory of the character that's new that you want to know about, and instead you're forced to see the backstory of a character you like love already. You already know everything about.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just forced to watch them suffer, and like ostensibly the reason you have to do this is like so that the new character finds out the backstory, but she has no interesting response to it beyond like you're dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like okay. Yeah,
it was
Scarlet
also
Witch is
so-
fucking dangerous. Like, did you need this to tell you? Like, there's a bunch of people out there who know that already. You know?
And why did you need to see her from the childhood? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
very confusing. You could just gone to the moment where she created the town.
And this idea that like, oh, but now we know that Scarlet Witch like stopped the bomb with her like early magic. It's like, who cares? Like, what does that add?
Yeah, that doesn't really add anything.
I think the thing
at all.
about where like it just happened to be a defective bomb was like really good. It was so like PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all like this episode. Not only didn't it add anything, it kind of like also like thwarted some things in a like unpleasant way. I felt also. So it was a bit of a poo-poo episode, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, that I really liked was this thing about how, like, it turns out, like, Scarlet Witch, like, didn't steal Vision's body, and that, like, the guy, the director, he knows that. So I thought that was, like, a spicy plot twist.
Yeah.
That he, like, faked these videos of her stealing his body, and that she, like, went to Vestview because Vision, like, had bought them a house there.
Yeah, that was really sad.
That was, like, really sad, but I think, like, also, you know, it was, like, that was, you know... I guess the whole point of the episode also is like to spin more compassion for Wanda, since we've been learning all about how she's like evil until now.
Yeah.
But it was just like the whole like universe of the show with all of the characters. Like last week, the guy is so excited about how like, oh no, Darcy's inside.
Yeah.
Darcy and the Vision are there. Pietro is there. Like, Monica is there. Like, where are they when Agnes and Elizabeth Olsen are just, like, running around outside with the kids?
Yeah, exactly. You were in, like, what's literally the point? What's the point of last episode having a mid-credit scene with Monica Rambeau being caught out by Pietro or Pietro?
While she's snooping into the basement.
While she's snooping into the basement and him being like, Snooper's gonna snoop, which is, like, ambiguous because he's like, was he snooping with her? Because he's also trying to figure out what's going on. Or did he find her snooping and he's like, gonna, you know, put her down, and then like not have that in this episode. I just really worried now that the last episode will be like, I don't know, like it will be like 40 minutes long and 30 minutes will be like fighting. It will be like Vision versus the Vision, so the two Visions fighting. It will be like Pietro fighting versus Monica Rambeau and Scarlet Witch fighting versus Agatha Harkness, and that would be really disappointed if it was like 30 minutes of them just fighting, I think.
I just didn't get the whole like, I'm just gonna like, since nobody watches this anyway, I'm just like, I don't get this like, this thing with the basement was so weird. It was like, so I set up these rooms.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
So you can't do your magic. I'm the only one that can do magic down here. So that's like kind of like her safe space.
Yeah.
Like I just don't.
And I did this.
But like, how is that possible? Also, because it's like Scarlet Witch, she can stop Thanos with one hand.
Yeah.
While destroying an Infinity Stone with another hand. But Latin runes like means she's powerless. I mean, like I get that they can't just give her like ultimate power over everybody and everything, but it's just like not respectful to our girl.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I wasn't like as much bothered by that part because, you know, I feel like it is possible really that you are in this one way a character is like super powerful in one dimension, but in this other dimension they are really like undercrossed.
But then Agatha should be using that a lot more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, it's just like,
yeah.
if she has the ability then to like, control Wanda so effectively.
Yeah, why did she let her out of the basement?
Yeah, and like why wouldn't she set up this rune like more? Like I don't know, like.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was super strange. I mean, that was the strangest part with the basement thing. Was it's like, so I set up this like protective enchantments because I suspect you're really powerful. Now I find out that you're not really powerful, but you're this like mythological being powerful. But now I'm outside the basement. Like, why? She had the children in the basement. Why would she have to take them out of there?
Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't, it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
And that just makes
but
it...
Agatha's reveal was very cool. I liked her outfit and the
her
makeup
outfit
and
was
everything.
really cool. And that just makes me feel that the only reason that they are really setting up for this like 30 minutes of fighting, you know, because they just want the pow pow pow, because they're like a bit insecure. They're like, oh, it's been too much like mystery and like fun and like suspense and thrill. We need to give some fans the pow pow pow, and it's like, yeah.
Vision and Wanda, they have such good chemistry.
They
though.
do have really good
like
chemistry.
Like that scene on the bed, you know.
Yeah, it was really
like,
good. Yeah, it was. I mean, the episode like, it's also like a good episode in a sense, because I mean, Wanda, like Elizabeth Olsen, she's so good at acting and she really carries you through it. But just like, yeah, ultimately, in the context of a show that is very creative, this episode and like very suspenseful and mysterious, and that has done a really good job of like showing instead of telling. It was just disappointing to have an episode that just told instead of showed, and it all the fact that it told was like uninteresting facts about like the world.
Yeah, it's like, tell me more about Agatha.
Yeah.
Or like, also it's just like, if the whole point was like for Agatha to learn this info, I don't know, why didn't she like respond more? Or I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
It was
Well, I think like the good part here, like the sort of like the silver lining is that if the last episode is really good now, or like the two silver linings, one, now for next Friday I won't have the same like anticipatory anxiety, you know, because I won't be so like hyped up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's like nice in one way to not have to go the whole week like waiting. And the other one is that if the last episode is really good now, you're gonna be like enjoy it even more because it's gonna be such, you know, because now your expectations.
The relief. That's true.
Lower,
I do like, my expectations have been significantly lower.
Significantly.
I mean,
lower.
I still think the show is like brilliant.
Yeah.
And like, I'm really happy that they made it, but I really like. I really expected that we're gonna go all the way.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, I don't know. I mean, maybe the last episode will pull up, but to me, it's like, it feels like they can't go all the way. It feels more like they're going to make a bit of a mess and it's going to lead into the next phase, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like...
I guess like a meta disappointment for you and me specifically was also the thing, like we're big fans of like The Legion, which we consider to be, if not the best, like definitely one of the best shows like ever made. And this show obviously has like borrowed like a lot from Legion, like in terms of like themes and in terms of like storytelling execution and just like a vibe. So it was like extra like weird and disheartening that when they really needed to borrow from Legion, you know, they just chose not to do it. Because like this is the type of episode, or this is the type of like the things that they wanted to portray in this episode are the things that the Legion TV show managed to portray in like an excellent way. You know, they would like, if they ever needed to fill in this position, it would just be so excellent the way they did it. Like, they did it in many different ways, but you know, the rap battles, the song, this like alternative
I feel like
episode.
okay, like Agnes, she could have had some sort of like magical book, you know,
yeah.
shows her like things.
Yeah.
And she could have like flipped through it, and it could have been like a picture book or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, or like a musical, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And like, it could have just been collapsed down to 5 minutes. You know what? Like, what makes me angry and upset is I feel like they did this because like they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
That's like really what I feel. Is like they don't want to give you something better.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I think because it's like, or like they feel that they don't. Because it's like, why would they do this to us? Like, this did not need to be that long.
Yeah.
Or is it that like Scarlet Witch is gonna be this weird like villain in the Doctor Strange movie, so they really want to like build up sympathy for her because it's like they feel like they've had this ultra evil villain Thanos, and now they're gonna have this like less evil villain to actually make it different and interesting.
I mean, okay, I think like first of all, even if that was like the purpose, I feel like they could have done it in a different and better way.
Yeah, okay,
but I mean, if that's the case, if that's what they're going for, then this episode will be like better in hindsight. I think, you know, it will be like more useful at least and more necessary.
I mean, like, to me, that's why it has to happen. It's like, I mean, they, like, okay, if we just think from the Disney perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, they thought this was the best way to do the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Hey, that's a good point. because it can't be right. It can't just only be that they're thinking, oh, there's some fans out there and they don't really know about like Wanda and they might be watching the show, so we need to fill them in. Because then they would have done that earlier, right? Because you know that like such fans that needed the fans that would belong to the category of being new and watching to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and watching this show, they're still watching now, wouldn't need to be filled in, right?
Yeah.
They would have left already. So yeah, perhaps Disney has like some bigger grand plan here why they showed this. But I mean, I'm like wish that would be the case, but I'm also not that hopeful. I think it was just really perhaps like them being like, we need to answer some questions.
You think they just dropped the ball?
I just think they dropped the ball a bit. That's my prediction. My prediction in the end is that we will feel like, yeah, they dropped the ball with this episode.
Nah, I think it's all part of the plan. I believe.
You believe? Okay.
Disney.
Well, I guess we'll find out
Disney.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until then.
Yes.
Until then. Ciao.
Bye.